Live from WTOC, the Southeast News leader. The News Now starts on WTOC Plus.
Would like to thank you all for joining us this afternoon for the news on WTOC Plus. I'm digital anchor Jude Binkley. We start with new details about the 19-year-old who was killed during a shooting with Hardeeville police officers. Jaden Holloway Caldwell of Pawleys Island died outside a motel and gas station on White Hardy Boulevard Friday morning. South Carolina Law Enforcement Division says officers were called after someone was trying to break into cars in the area. Now, investigators say officers later encountered an armed man matching the description, and then an argument started, which led to the officer and him exchanging gunfire. Both men were hit. SLED is looking into what led up to the argument. Holloway Caldwell's family says they want people to know about his character.
To know Jaden is to love Jaden. Jaden has such a big heart, a pure heart. He always wanted to make sure everybody around him was okay.
SLED says this does remain an active and ongoing investigation. They confirmed to WTOC that this is the fourth shooting involving an officer in the state this year. And staying in Jasper County, the Jasper County Sheriff's Office made an arrest in connection with a different fatal shooting that happened in Hardeeville yesterday. The shooting happened yesterday morning on Old Charleston Highway in Hardeeville. Investigators say Dwayne Lauren Bentley Jr. was identified as the shooter. He's being charged with murder and possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime. This investigation also remains active. In national news now, the Trump administration appears to be changing its tone and strategy following the shooting death of Minneapolis resident Alex Preddy by a Border Patrol agent. Natalie Brand has the latest from the nation's capital.
In the face of intense public backlash and bipartisan criticism, President Trump's border czar Tom Homan is hitting the ground in Minnesota to take over immigration enforcement operations.
Mr. Homan is the point person for cooperating with state and local authorities and corresponding with them.
The change in strategy comes as Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara told CBS News people have had enough.
They know this is damaging to the reputations of their agencies. They know this is damaging to the culture in these agencies, and this is creating problems that will take years and years to fix.
CBS News has also learned some of the 800 Customs and Border Protection agents that were part of the larger federal force sent to the Minneapolis area are leaving, along with outspoken Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino, who said this following Saturday's deadly shooting of Alex Preddy.
This looks like a situation where an individual wanted to do maximum damage and massacre law enforcement.
Other administration officials labeled Preddy as a domestic terrorist over the weekend, but Monday the White House took a different tone.
I have not heard the president characterize Mr. Preddy in that way. However, I have heard the president say he wants to let the facts in the investigation lead itself.
Sources tell CBS News DHS Secretary Kristi Noem is facing scrutiny within the Trump administration and questions over the handling of the shooting and the response. Sources say she's expected to keep her job but shift her focus from interior enforcement operations in major U.S. cities to the southern border and other administration priorities. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Well, back here in the Peach State, while the ice storm from over the weekend has mostly moved out of Georgia, thousands of people in north and middle Georgia are still dealing with lingering impacts. Niamani Watson with our sister station is at the Georgia Emergency Management Headquarters with more on the aftermath of the ice storm.
The ice storm caused widespread power outages and downed trees across Georgia, including metro Atlanta. Crews have been working around the clock on recovery efforts, but these bitter cold temperatures are making it a challenge in some counties. Today, roads are passable again and the power in many communities restored as Georgia continues to thaw out from this weekend's ice storm. Georgia Emergency Management Director Josh Lamb says preparation beforehand helped with a quick recovery.
You never know exactly how a storm's going to work out, so you've got to prepare for the worst where the best can happen. I think that's what we've done here.
The winter weather caused ice buildup on roads, power lines, and trees. In Sandy Springs, one person was hurt after a tree fell through their home. Some of the hardest hit areas were in North Georgia, where the ice storm knocked out service to more than 100,000 customers. This morning, more than 3,000 people in Northeast Georgia remained without power. Georgia Power says the area received extensive damage from ice and falling trees, making access to power lines challenging. With bitter cold temperatures overnight Monday into Tuesday morning, the roads refreezing is another concern. Lamb asking people, especially in Northeast Georgia, to be careful.
If you don't have to travel, don't. And if you do, use extreme caution, slow down, especially watch out for those bridges and overpasses because they could still be frozen.
Lamb says they've also brought in crews from South Georgia to help with recovery in Northeast Georgia. Reporting from the Georgia Emergency Management Headquarters, I'm Neomani Watson, Atlanta News First.
And at the Savannah Airport, delays and cancellations from that winter storm have left some travelers stranded. Now, we spoke with a couple yesterday who arrived in Savannah on Saturday and planned to leave the next day, but their Sunday flight was canceled. They said they were staying an extra night and say they're making the best of it right here in the hostess city. Their message to travelers affected by the storm is to stay patient and look at it as part of the trip.
We flew in from Philadelphia on Saturday. We arrived here about 12:30. We were spending the night, and then we were supposed to fly out early Sunday morning. Flight was canceled. Couldn't have been asked for a better overnight than in Savannah, Georgia.
According to FlightAware, more than 50 flights were canceled yesterday in a span of 24 hours at the airport. And as the nation's airlines try to get back on track after the weekend's winter storm, Southwest Airlines is in the middle of a disruption of its very own. The carrier just launched a brand new boarding system. For the first time, its passengers have assigned seats after decades of allowing passengers to choose their own. CBS's Chris Van Cleave has the story.
It was an all-nighter at Chicago Midway Airport. After the last flights left Monday evening, Southwest crews began disassembling the gate areas, out with the old numbered pillars where passengers would line up, and in with boarding lanes and assigned seating.
You've got to keep changing to meet the needs of our customers.
Southwest CEO Bob Jordan.
How heavy of a lift is it to start assigning seats?
The bigger part is training our folks in the field to be ready, and then training our customers because they need to show up and know that we're going to board the aircraft in a different way.
It also meant changing the cabin layout of every plane in the Southwest fleet, more than 800, adding new extra legroom and preferred seating sections. Those come at an extra cost, but are popular with flyers.
We're seeing the beginning of yet another new chapter for Southwest, but this one I think will be a good chapter, unlike charging for checked bags.
We're going to start boarding. But just how to quickly board passengers for assigned seating prompted nearly 3 years of study.
We started off by building a computer-based simulation model. What that allowed us to do is we simulated over 1 billion flights.
Lisa Hinkson oversees innovation and customer experience. She says next came real-world testing at the gate.
We stress tested those out live in the operation to make sure that it was organized, that it didn't have congestion. And so that's where we got to our 8 boarding groups,
each with 15 to 30 passengers. Premium and customers with status will board early. General boarding will fill the plane from the back to the front.
Is all of this just about boosting the bottom line?
We surveyed and talked to all of our customers, and what they wanted from Southwest Airlines was more choice.
And while about 80% of Southwest flyers said they preferred a seat assignment, it's not just about choice. The airline was under pressure to increase profitability, and not having things like premium economy meant they were leaving money on the table compared to other airlines. Chris Van Cleave, CBS News, Baltimore.
I know it was controversial. I always kind of preferred the cattle call system that Southwest did. It set them apart from so many other airlines. So interesting change right there. Well, I do apologize. My computer system just died, but I do believe we can get through the rest of the stories here on WTOC+. First off, staying in travel news, TSA is set to start fining flyers who don't have their real IDs. So if you do plan on flying soon, make sure you check to make sure you've got that updated form of ID. The fine for flyers, if you're flying without a real ID, is $45. All right, well, here's a story that proves that life really always finds a way. One couple in North Carolina braved the weekend's winter storm to have a special delivery of their own. Our sister station in Charlotte has the story.
The ice is no joke. I feel like there's a good bit. Shelby and David Montez take this walk carefully. There is precious cargo on board.
Definitely changed our plans a little bit. Wasn't expecting this.
An ice storm left them without much of a choice. The pair are bound for a Charlotte hospital where Shelby is set to give birth to a baby boy. Driving wasn't worth the risk, so expectant mom and dad secured a hotel a quarter mile from the delivery room, just in case.
It's been easy because ultimately we want to prioritize her safety and the safety of the baby, so whatever we needed to do to be able to get to the hospital today is what we did.
Plan executed to perfection. The only decision left unmade might have been made for them.
We keep joking that we're going to name him Fern because we don't have a name just yet. So we're like, maybe this is the name. We're going to name him Fern after the snowstorm of 2026, or the ice storm, I should say. So we'll see.
So off the Montezes trudged, slow and steady. A 10-minute walk for a lifetime of joy. In Charlotte, Michael Warwick, WBTV, on your side.
All right, nice story there for your Tuesday afternoon. And with that, we are going to wrap things up here for the news on WTOC Plus. We'll be back in just about 15 minutes for the First Alert Weather Show with Dave Turley, because we are expecting some frigid temperatures throughout the week. Honestly, dangerously cold conditions. Feels like in the single digits potentially on Sunday. So Dave Turley will be back in 15 minutes to break all that down with an extended look at your forecast. In the meantime, you can always head on over to our website to catch the latest at WTOC.com. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and here's local news live.